today. Other details about me you can find on that website, sojioyawoye.com, sojioyawoye.com. And that's my business line should you need to contact me for anything outside this session. I'm sure we're familiar with the chicken and the eagle. And I just like a few of you could put up a chat in the chat box. Oh, I can't see the chat box. So perhaps somebody reads out to me what the response may be. What happens to chickens and eagles when the storm gathers and the rain is threatened or the rain is actually about to fall? What happens when you see the clouds change and the storm gathering? What happens to chickens and eagles? What do they both do? I'd like some feedback. Could be in the chat box. What happens?
Yeah, the chat box is open, so let's feel free to drop our comments, and I can't be able to read it out to the speaker. But I think if you go down, you'll be able to see the chat box, but I can help to read out as we see.
I can see the chat box now.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Chickens feed, eagles soar. Correct, John. That's absolutely what happens. When the storms begin to gather, chickens flock together and run to go and hide. And eagles, they soar above the clouds and actually use those same storms and the clouds to get leverage and to flow on. Absolutely, Tega, you're also absolutely correct. Now, we're talking about the growth mindset. The person with the growth mindset is like an eagle. So in spite of the huge challenges we see around us in our environment in Nigeria, right, the eagles in this country continue to soar, while the chickens just stay with the mindset of doom and how terrible things are, which in actual fact is a fact. Things are really tough. But what eagles do is they ride those storms. So the growth mindset is what we need us all to be to succeed as techpreneurs. And basically it means entrepreneurs that are in the technological field. I received some questions prior to this session, and I'll try and run through them as quickly as possible. Someone asked delegation. What's the difference between a generalist and a specialist? Basically, a generalist is someone who has knowledge in a vast area. Sometimes that vast area of knowledge, some of it is not even useful to the individual. The person just has general knowledge in several things and is able to do maybe quite a lot of things from that knowledge. But a specialist focuses in one specific area and just builds competence in that area. And I tell you, to truly succeed as a techpreneur or an entrepreneur, some specialization and focus is required, because when you repeat it, actually you get better at it and you get known for it increasingly over time. Someone also asked, what role does brand play in entrepreneurial success? A lot. In fact, the times that we live in, if you're not marketing as a brand, you're not likely to go far. If you're still marketing the traditional way of marketing and pushing your entrepreneurial business, you're not likely to go far. Right, so you need to build your business into a brand, and the brand just simply means the value proposition that you put out there is known, and your organization is known for something. So brand is key to entrepreneurial success. How can the employer identify process improvement areas? Now, the truth about process improvement areas is a business is a continuity, it's a living being. So what is key is to have regular times to just stop and review the business. It could be a weekly meeting of the executive, or most advisably, at least a monthly review of what's happened the month after and what you need to do differently. And being flexible as you have those review sessions to tweak what needs to be tweaked and pivot if you need to, and change what needs to be changed. Nothing should be cast in stone. And the times we're living in, there's actually nothing called long-term anymore. There's long-term plans that are not useful anymore because things change repeatedly and so frequently. Which is more important, the idea or execution of the idea? Now, this is a trick question because there's only to execute if you don't have an idea. So I actually would say both are important, but an idea on its own is useless if you don't move it to execution stage. And the challenge with ideas is sometimes the person who has the idea or who is possessed by the idea, because an idea is a spirit, that individual may not be the best person based on the person's personality and characteristics to execute it. So sometimes it would be nice to collaborate with somebody who may complement you in execution. How do I proceed with my newfound love for anything technology? I learned from Richard Branson a while ago that it's nice to be, is a polymer, you call it, someone who's good at several things, and you love several things. But once you're talking entrepreneurship, you have to focus on which is the most significant of those several things you do. In fact, Richard Branson says, write down all of these things you love to do as a business. Then he says, forget everything but the top three. And after you've narrowed down to the top three, just start with the first one. Don't go to number two priority or focus until number one is succeedingly doing well on its own. Otherwise, you're likely not to do well in any over time. To what extent can lack of growth mindset make or mar a business? Well, that's what we're here to do. So I'm sure this question will be answered as I go through the main presentation. What is there for personnel management in organizations owned by individuals? Well, the beauty of the market is the market punishes organizations that have this challenge. And I dare say a lot of organizations, not just those that are owned by individuals, even those that are albeit supposedly structured. The truth of the matter is your people, your staff are the greatest assets of any business. So if you want to build a business and you want it to grow to be a legacy business, you have to develop people's skills and go and learn it. It's a skill set on its own. People management. I'm an economics graduate, but I've done human resource management for 15 years now. I don't have any certification in HR. So it's not about the certification. You just must have people management skills. Is there any unique methodology a Techprenuer needs to follow to really win the heart of the customer? It doesn't matter whether you're a Techprenuer or whatever preneur that you are, right? Without customers, you don't have a business, right? So to get customers, the solution is very simple. What problem is your business providing solutions for? Once you can answer that question, what problem really is your business providing solution for? Once you can answer that question, the next question is, who are the people that have these problems that need to know that they exist? And that's where marketing comes in. And once you identify them, the next thing is, do they have the capacity and willingness to pay for the solution that you provide? If you can get yes answers to these three questions, you will win the heart of the customers because they have a problem, they have a need, you have a solution. Definitely you'll fall in love with it. Right. So those are the questions that have come in earlier, and I just felt we needed to deal with them. Now, straight to the subject matter itself. What is a growth mindset? You know, sometimes terminologies I just like to break them down. The growth mindset simply describes somebody who believes that their success depends on time and effort. So these are people that take responsibility for their life and their circumstances and their situations. They don't blame the government. They don't blame the exchange rate. They don't blame Nigeria. They don't blame their parents. They don't blame the witches and the wizards. They just recognize and they believe strongly that their success is dependent on time and the effort they put in. Right. It means that they believe in themselves, especially in their ability to change. I'm sure you remember that Darwin's theory that says the most successful is not the person who is most intelligent, not the one that is strongest, but the one that is most adaptable to change. So a growth mindset is someone who adapts. Just recently, Central Bank again came up and said, we're not selling FX to grow the China. Suddenly, dollar went to about 525. Yes, it's painful. That's a fact. Right? A growth mindset would not spend too much time discussing and debating the pros or cons of that decision. Rather, they adapt and they find ways to earn effects. Can I sell some of my products offshore so that I earn dollars rather than converting naira to buy dollars? And in the world we live in, especially technical people like you, the services and products that you sell, buyers are worldwide. So if you're earning dollars, it doesn't, in fact, if you're earning dollars in your business, you are happy that the exchange rate is going to 525. You want it to be 700 naira. So that's what a growth mindset does, right? They adapt, they learn, then they develop. So a growth mindset is permanently improving its intelligence and its ability to learn new skills. I'm into people management on an outsourced basis. I have about 3-4 clients that are offshore and they pay me in dollars, right? And the rates that we had entered those agreements in were locked in 2 years ago and has not changed. So as the exchange rate continues to go up, I'm earning more in absolute terms for the same service I'm rendering. So that's what a growth mindset does. You position yourself, you change, you learn, and you develop. A fixed mindset, which unfortunately is where a lot of our Nigerians are, this describes people who have the tendency to go where the least resistance is expected. They thrive in the comfort zone. And there's a lot of talk. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things wrong with our economy and that frustrate businesses. Those are the facts. But you know what? Facts change. Facts change. So because facts change, the growth mindset, do not let those facts appear as if they are permanent. The fixed mindset avoids risk and anything that is tough or difficult. Growth mindset, like the eagle, rides straight into that same storm and soars above it. That's what the growth mindset does. Because we live in an uncertain world. That's the reality. Your past experiences and knowledge are less reliable guides for success these days, which is why even the certifications we all have, shelf life these days is 2 to 3 years. That certificate is no longer relevant because things have changed so fast. That's the world we live in now. So whatever past experiences you had for knowledge, they are less reliable. So your growth mindset is constantly learning and relearning and unlearning and adaptable and responsive to changes as is happening in the economy. So to achieve success during uncertainty, ability to think is crucial. And unfortunately, many people do not think, as you find out in the little clip that I'll share next. But to achieve success during uncertainty, as it is that the time we're living, ability to think is crucial. Just listen to Dr. Olusoji here.
This is Dr. Olusoji. Today I have to talk about the head. The head is what we used to think, right? But let me give you some numbers, and I want you to put yourself, are you 2%? Are you 3% or are you 95%? You would think the higher the number, the better. But listen carefully. 2% of people think. 3% of people think that they think. 95% of people don't think because thinking is hard work. Let me ask you this. Are you 2%? Do you think? Or are you 3%? You think you think. Or are you the 95 that cannot be bothered to think at all? Because in the power of how, we talked about habit yesterday. Today, you have to be the 2%. Majority doesn't have words. I want to challenge you. Be the 2% of people who think every day. Think into your process. Think into what you say. Make sure you are the 2%.
Can you beat that? Only 2% of people actually think. This is not talking of entrepreneurs or techpreneurs. 2% of 7-8 billion people think. So obviously, it would mean that a much smaller percentage of techpreneurs think. No wonder a lot of people are struggling to succeed in business or entrepreneurship. You have to be the 2% that think. It's important because everything in the world is created twice. It's created first in our thinking. Nothing is created without first going through a thought process. Ideas drop into a human being. Ideas are spirits. It is when it drops into a human being, then it possesses the human being who gives life to the idea. That's a thinking process. So everything is created twice. However, thinking itself is triggered by what we hear or what we see, and from who we heard or saw the trigger. Thinking is triggered by what we hear or what we see, and from who we heard or saw the trigger. So where our source is not of the growth mindset, our outcomes will also not be different. That's why to succeed in business, you must avoid people with negative mindset. This country is finished. All the leaders are thieves. Nothing good can come out of this country. You want to avoid such people. Honestly, those are fixed mindsets because those facts change. And put differently, in this same economy, people like me with a third-class graduate, we're doing well. I currently employ about 8,000 staff. And you heard my profile earlier, just Google me. Because I have a growth mindset. So that's how you succeed in an uncertain environment. Have you heard of cognitive dissonance before, by the way? Cognitive dissonance. You see, the human capacity for denial is infinite. People generally, it's easy to convince us of things we already believe, especially if the person trying to convince us or making those statements has some authority over us. The human capacity to deny. The reality is infinite. So that's why we need to be very careful. What we hear or see, and from who we heard or saw the trigger. Those issues are facts. Things are tough in the country. Our leaders are thieves. Yes, things are bad. Those are facts. But facts change. The truth does not. A growth mindset associates only with positivity, and they consistently adapt, learn, and take advantage like eagles. These are characteristics of the growth mindset. Further, growth minds recognize that the process is more important than the outcome. The process is more important than the outcome. So growth mindset is not about the outcome. It's just consistently making sure they take the first step. Or if it doesn't work, then they learn something from that process and they try another step. They focus more on the steps taken and the lessons learned rather than the outcomes. And because they're constantly doing that, over time, the steps they take increasingly become smarter and sharper. And they learn lessons, and they would have moved away from the person who is waiting for perfect wins. So growth mindset focuses more on the steps taken. Where not successful, they don't get drained by the outcomes not attained. The key to train yourself is to act, to execute more often than waiting for perfect wins. By the time the wins are perfect, it's too late. If things were all smooth and perfect in this country, then everybody would, there'll be no competitive advantage anyway. Just go to the airports. How come foreigners consistently fly into this country? They take the capital away, they get the business done, and they're out. So let's begin to develop an increasingly relevant positive growth mindset. That's how you succeed as a techpreneur. And I just want you to watch this. You may have seen the clip earlier. It's the second and last video. This is by Isaiah Holt on TEDx Portland, just for you to see what a growth mindset is.
What's up, Portland? What's up? Everybody great? Good. I'm sleep on me now. I will take you on a journey. Please. I don't want to see no peekers. Close your eyes. Please raise your hand if you've ever found yourself at the wrong place, the wrong time, or with the wrong crowd. Not that me? Okay, to be truthful, it's all right. All right. Well, I want to share with you my story, a piece of my journey that is real, and it happened right here before the Northern. The combination of bad circumstances and choices led me to a night
that would change my life forever. It was a warm Friday night, August 26, 2006, when me and my friend were standing on the corner of Northwest 6th and Cooch. And we got into an altercation with a rebel gang and a fight broke out. Shortly after, gunshots rang. Chaos everywhere. People screaming, crying, chaos everywhere. You may open your eyes if you have not already. Cheers. All of a sudden, I kind of felt a burning sensation arise in my back. That night, I was taken to the hospital for my gunshot wounds, and so were the other people. That night, I seriously injured people trying to protect myself and my friend. Unfortunately, people got hurt. But I wasn't always a bad guy. I was raised by a single mother of 2 boys, a great woman. I got involved in criminal activity at a really young age. My mom was became 12 years old, I became a gang member, started selling drugs. In Turk, we protected the 30 square blocks, ranging from 15th and Prescott all the way down to MLK and Fremont. So I dropped out of high school and ran away from home. And upon my profession, the district attorney by the Minister Society. At 18, I went to prison. I spent the next 7 years in prison. I witnessed a lot of things inside that jungle, from racial segregation, gang warfare, to drug trade, rape, suicide. So I had to make a choice to either continue the path I was on, probably lead in my death, or use this time to redeem myself, become the man my mom always wanted me to be. So while in prison, I took college classes, I trained to be an athlete, and a turning point happened in my sentence about September 2012, when I was told I could be released 4 months early for good behavior. The bad part was I hadn't finished my apprenticeship program yet. I've already put in over 5 years and 7,500 hours of hands-on training. I only needed 500 more hours to test out and become a licensed electrician. So I had to make the hardest decision of my life. These type of decisions young men like me make every day, quick and emotionally, because honestly, it doesn't make sense to stay in prison longer. You should want to go home. So after thinking about it, I made the decision, and I stayed in prison longer, and now I am a licensed electrician. When I came home, I was greeted by counselors and mentors through a program called Community Partners Reinvestment Program, CPR for short, through Volunteers of America. CPR helps young men like me get back on track after incarceration. It helps families break the cycle of gang association. A couple months after I came home, I got a job for a great company. I thought that job interview was going really well. So I got to be honest and tell him about my past. And when I told him, he gave me a look that I'm in a room with a scary film look. Needless to say, I haven't heard from him ever since. So what was my moment of truth? Yes, I went to prison for 7 years, but that's the dream. I'm not gonna let my feelings define me. I've worked too hard. I'm gonna stay positive, optimistic to be the man that I need to be. And I like to say that I'm perfectly perfect. In my book, I've had a time for soul searching, a time for rehabilitation, a time for redemption, a time for re-entry, a time for commitment and productivity. I don't know what the end of my book looks like, but today, April 12th, is a perfect example of being at the right place, at the right time, with the right crowd.
I hope you got that. That's what a growth mindset is. Someone for crimes committed was put in jail, and then he got to a point for good behavior. They were going to release him about 3 years or thereabout before he completed his sentence. But then he had enrolled while in prison with a prison school to acquire a certification and a degree as an electrical engineer. If he took the exit and to be let out of prison early, he would have lost all his study and the certification. He chose to stay in there. That's a growth mindset. It may be a graphic example of that, but that is a growth mindset. Where people, again, everything is created twice. They think, then they plan, and then move to executing that plan. You won't get it right all the time. Like Isaiah didn't get it right all the time. You'll fail occasionally. And we all make wrong decisions. Business decisions inclusive. You lose money. Look at Richard Branson. He failed the last time he tried to get into space and lost millions of dollars. But he succeeded just a few weeks back. That is the growth mindset. You see, success, however, only comes from making good decisions. So as techpreneurs, we have to train ourselves to make good decisions. The challenge is, how do you learn to make good decisions? I tell you, you learn to make good decisions only from experience. So how do you get experience? The only way to get experience is from making wrong decisions over time. That is the order. So how do I avoid making wrong decisions in its entirety? It's not humanly possible to avoid making wrong decisions. So people with fixed mindset, because they don't want to make wrong decisions, they don't take that step. They procrastinate. People with growth mindset, they take the step. Sometimes it's a wrong decision. Then they learn from it, then they get experience. Then they make better decisions and they begin to make good decisions. And from there, the progression is on and they succeed. That's the way to succeed. That's a progression. So you need to stop being afraid of what could go wrong. You have to be. You have to start being excited about what could go right. It's a thinking process. Perspectives matter. So why worry so much about what could go wrong? How about thinking of what could go right and be excited by that and be motivated by that instead? That is a growth mindset. They're excited by what could go right rather than being afraid of what could go wrong. So they step out. These are my children. They're now 28 and 26 years old. You have to make the best use of what you have. This was the balcony of an apartment I lived in 27 years ago in the Butemeta. It was more or less a face me, I face you apartment. I couldn't afford the good things of life for my children. So I bought this waterbed swimming pool, and in the balcony, we filled it with water. And my kids were having a swimming pool experience. But I was not satisfied with that state. I desired more. But at that time, this was all I had. That's a growth mindset. And I made the best use of what I had. That is the balcony. That was the house there. 22 Ejeba Street, Lagos. Thanks for Google. I could pick the house, and I drove there recently. It's still as it is. So it's this large balcony. It's just about 5 of us sharing. One of the window in the middle was my own bedroom. It was a one-room apartment. So there are about 3-4 people in that floor. But look at how large the balcony was. So I just created a swimming pool for my children 27 years ago. That's a growth mindset. But I desired more, and I thought through it, and I walked through it. Dreams come true. Dreams come true. This is where I live now. This is a 27-year-old journey. This is Victoria Garden City. So, and I'm not finished yet, but this is where I am currently, from where I was 27 years ago. This was me at that time. This was the car that I had at that time, 27 years ago. This is me now. Dreams come true. So it's a 27 years journey. That's a growth mindset. And it's a techpreneur. You have to recognize that A business is a living thing. And if you really, really want to be entrepreneurial, not a businessman, they're two different things. A businessman only focuses on profit. An entrepreneur focuses on delivering value, creating customers, and over time, the profit comes. So that's a growth mindset. Dreams do come through. These are 3 of the cars I own now from that panel van 27 years ago. The 4th one is not in this picture. So your decision-making process has to be smooth. What is a decision? A decision is a conscious choice among alternative courses of action for dealing with a problem or opportunity. Every decision-making process always produces a final outcome. It can be an action or an opinion. So a growth mindset trains themselves to make informed decisions over time. And there are 3 elements that are important in making informed decisions. 1, there must be a conscious choice amongst alternatives. So your thinking process has to have alternatives. Then there must be a specific purpose or problem or opportunity that you are working towards. Then a course of action that you would implement. This is critical for the growth mindset. And problem solving requires 2 types of thinking. A divergent creative thinking mindset or a critical convergent thinking or mindset. So these 2 thinking are required for a growth mindset. Ability to be divergent, creative, and at the same time be critically convergent. These 2 are important for problem solving. And a growth mindset is a great problem solver. And these things, you can grow them and develop them over time. Again, if you surround yourself with people of growth mindsets, so that it is positives that feed your thinking. Now, I've said a lot about the growth mindset and the thinking and the idea. This is where a lot of people fail. Implementation. But implementation is a cycle of 3 activities for you to implement right. So don't just stop at the idea stage and the thinking and the planning, which is where a lot of people get it wrong. There are 3 cycles that are critical for execution. You must figure out what you need to do. Then do it. Then do it. Then do it. Then after you do it, don't get too comfortable. Even if it's successful, there must be feedback management. Respond proactively to the outcomes you see. And be flexible with the process. Again, the process is more important than the outcome. So this is where a lot of people miss it. Just figure out what you need to do, then do it. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Then adjust along the way. Now, this is funny. As I round up, it's a flow chart for problem resolution. It's something that I built. So this is how I respond and handle problems over time. I ask myself, is it working? Is my solution to the problem working? So I'm confronted with a challenging situation. Is my solution working? If my solution is working, then don't worry about it. Then the problem is sorted. Now, if my solution is not working, did I mess up with it? If I didn't mess up with it, meaning it's nothing of significant strategic value, right? Then next question is, will it blow up in my hands or mess up my business or my personality or my brand? If the answer is no, then I have knowledge, the matter is sorted. However, if I messed up with it such that I've made a fool of myself, that's still not the end of it. What the growth mindset does is you ask yourself, does anyone else know I've made a big fool of myself? If the answer is no, then I just hide it under a desk. It's not written on my face that I've messed up, I've made a wrong decision. I'm a daft fool, yes, but I learned the lesson from it. Now, if I've made a big fool of myself and it's blown up in my face, oh, yes, I could be finished. You understand? But then a growth mindset asks, can I pass the blame to someone else or can I make some adjustments with what appears finished? If yes, then it is sorted. Remember that story of some civil servant that was interviewed on live TV and they were asking for the website of the organization and he said he's a guy at the top. Now, that's him being a daft fool. That's him seemingly finished. What a growth mindset would have done is I'll come out of that program and quickly go and register Oga at the top. I'll register it, I'll copyright it and begin to push out branded items Oga at the top. He didn't do that, but you know, make a lot of money out of that. That's what a growth mindset does. You don't stay down. Okay. Nobody else, somebody else knows I've messed up, so I'm finished again. Can I pass the blame? And that's how it goes. So this is my flow chart for problem resolution. And you find out there's no problem in the world. You can throw it through this flow chart and you come out of it a lot better. That's what a growth mindset does. Now, you're techpreneurs. I want to round up briefly now and just talk to you about entrepreneurship, how to make money. Because that's the thing again. You see, you may be good at your technology development and all of that, but the business side of it is entrepreneurship. That itself requires some skill set. And this is from Eno Mokri, and I agree. These are fantastic businesses people can make money out of now and in the future, and they're all within your space, your technology space. So they need to sell as a techpreneur. However, your success requires a version of you that embraces selling. So you can't succeed if you don't like selling. Or if you have a problem with selling, or you think you are shy, you don't mix, you don't network, you are not likely to succeed, except you collaborate with somebody who has those personality traits to help you do all of that. You can't have customers if you can't sell. Without customers, you don't have a business. At every level of business, your ability to sell will make a huge difference in how much success you experience. So you must train yourself to sell. And there are coaches out there that some will be free programs and sessions, some will be paid. It's important you invest in that, because your ability to sell is what brings in the customer, and it's the customer that brings in that profit you are looking for. Because money always responds to value. Money is a current. Money is a current. That's why it's called currency. Currency is from the word current. It's always flowing. It's never static. And that's why all those fools that steal the money and lock it up in one vault or lock it up in a room, they don't understand. Once it's locked up, it stops becoming useful, because money is to create value. And money is always looking for where value is. Money is attracted to value, right? So money responds to value. So you want more money, then create value. Create value. Sell the problem that you solve, not the products. A lot of people in business make the mistake. They're selling products and services rather than the problem that their products and services actually solve. The customer buys solutions. They're not buying your product or service, whatever name is called. What they are buying is the solution, not the product or the service. So what solution is your business or your product actually solving? And it's important when you look at customers, don't just focus on the existing customer. You must build a prospect list as a techpreneur. A prospect list are the people you are talking to. Global standard is you will achieve 10% success on a 30-day basis. So to get one new customer every month, you must have 10 prospects you are talking to. Meaning if you want 5 new customers every month, you must have a prospect list, a list of prospective customers of 50. Then 10% of 50, you will get 5 new customers. Also, as a techpreneur, there's a group of customers called influencers. They may never buy from you, but they have influence. You need to cut them so that they complement and enhance your brand and your business. Networking. You can see the work there is highlighted because networking requires work. You can't grow a business as a techpreneur or anything if you don't build your network. So invest in building your network. And you build your network through your own students associations, through your professional associations, through your religious faith worship centers, through your colleagues at work, through people you meet on the road. You have to train yourself to network. That's the only way, because your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. That is how businesses grow. When you hear man, no man, and all of that, it is true and right for business. And the technical word for it is network. So if you need to sell, exponentially build a network. Be intentional. You have to take action. That thing you desire, Without taking the positive step as a growth mindset, it won't happen. And I'm done. So any problem anyone wants us to help solve today, because I'm done with my sharing, I'm open now for the questions. I'm in all those social media handles. On Instagram, I am Soji Woye. I'll put all of those details in the chat box anyway. So I'm done. I'm open for your questions now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I think this was explosive. Everyone will agree with me that I think I got the comment and someone says it's a PhD reset for a growth mindset. And I think it was John that said that, and I quite agree with you. Even for me to taking notes and asking myself, oh my, I used to know this. What happened to me, you know, and all that. Thank you. Very explosive. It's a refresher course, and I think we all needed that. Very short because I'm sure this is supposed to be like 2 modules, a 1-hour module kind of thing. In there to do it in 45 minutes. But I feel like flying after this lecture. Oh, sure, you need to fly. Can we take questions together before we questions, clarifications around failing, around creating things twice? I'm sure many people will contest the fact that only 2% of people think. Okay, what are the others doing? Are we dreaming or something?
They think they are thinking. They think they are thinking.
They think they are thinking. Oh,
but they're not thinking.
98% of the people are thinking they are thinking. Wow. So what exactly are people doing? Are they dreaming? Okay. Somebody raised their hand. John. I think admin, can you let John? I think he raised their hand. Do you have a question you want to type or you want to be able to speak? You can just unmute him.
All right. Good evening, sir.
John, good evening.
Sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you so much, sir, for the value. I want to straight to my question. I train young, small children, age 5 to 18.
Yeah.
And I try to see how to guide them career-wise and see how to introduce technology to them, because technology is the future. And I'm based in Jigawa State. It's not been funny because the system here has not really embraced technology and all that. But from the teaching this evening, I've been encouraged to still have this growth mindset. And I'm positive about it. But in my figure, once you don't have customers, you don't have a business. My figure is not reading what I would want to see. I keep investing in it. And I don't know what counsel or guidance that will be given to me that can help me, scale up and be better than I am today. I paid one of my staff today. I'm going to be paying the other 2 tomorrow, because the money in the account is not okay for that.
Considering that we have a limited time, I get the question. I get the question. Sorry.
All right, sir. Now,
sir. You see, as a techpreneur, that's why I said there's a distinction between somebody who is a businessman or woman and someone who is an entrepreneur. The business person is only driven by profits. So once they don't see the profits, there's a problem. An entrepreneur, a techpreneur, is not the profit that drives them, it's the solution they provide. And as long as they have created one customer and they have kept that customer, they go for customer 2. And gradually over time, they build enough customers that bring the profit. My own business is 15 years old now. We didn't make a profit until year 5, and we didn't shut down. It was hell. But you keep on learning in that process. So just like you said, you have staff salaries to pay. You need to check again. What solution is that your technology providing? The irony of it is sometimes the people who have the problem that you have a solution for may not be in Jigawa, or people around you may not have the capacity to pay. But the world we live in, that's the beauty of it. Put that solution out there. Those who have the problem that you have a solution for, they will buy from you. A perfect example is there's a lady in Ojoba Market in Ilorin. I come from Kwara State. Barbie dolls. Barbie dolls are usually skimpily dressed. This lady behind the Emir's Palace in Ojoba began to make Barbie dolls wearing hijab. and put it online, social media. Guess where her customers were coming from? Saudi Arabia, UAE, not Ilorin people. And they pay her plus courier cost. She takes it to DHL in Ilorin and they freights it. Dollars. CNN came to interview her. You can Google, just Google Barbie doll Ojoba Ilorin to confirm what I'm saying. So a lot of what happens to us is we are still thinking of customers in the traditional way. If I have a solution, oh, just put it out there, YouTube, Instagram. It will take some time. Entrepreneurship takes time before you are known. You know why it takes time? People are watching you until they trust you and they see other people buy from you. I manage staff for 9 banks now. I'm an ex-banker. I left as a general manager. The founder of my business was the MD of a bank. The first bank customer that we got came in year 7. No bank gave us business, in spite of our connection and contact to all of them. But now I'm managing 9. As the first one came, the others began to come. Now I'm doing business with the top banks. That's what happens when you are a techpreneur. They will first watch you. So you have to be patient, keep your costs low. At their cost, you can outsource rather than take on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sojan. Quite exciting. John, all the way from Jigawa. I mean, year in, year out, I've seen you log on. Yeah, there's a lot more that I'm sure you can learn around your business. And that's why, again, we have the Telegram page. My colleagues will drop the in the chat box. Put some of your questions there, clarifications. Other people who come in there, people come from the East, people come from outside the country. We'll be able to also have conversations with you around how to help. You also might be investing ahead of the curve. There are quite a number of things that I think a 2 minutes or a 3 minutes or even a webinar for 45 minutes might not be able to dissect a lot around what you're doing. But the beauty of it is that you have started the process. And like you had said, you are committed to the process. We hope you are part of the 2% that is thinking. Okay, and that we believe that if you keep thinking and you make the decisions, ultimately you will make the right decision. So thank you very much, John. And like I said, join the Telegram group, throw a couple of questions in there. We'll see how we can help and how we can bring value and how you can network with other people. I mean, we've got about 200 and something people on that Telegram page. And you can network and they can see how they can be of help and value to you, and such that you can create Jigawa and make it another Dubai and all that. Really, there's nowhere that you do not find opportunity. And to everyone, again, I know we're against time. We've got 3 minutes to go, but I need to say a profound thank you to our facilitator for today. You have done an amazing job. Thank you so, so much. SOJ, we do not take it for granted. It's been refreshing. It's been a wow experience, and I see you can see the chat. People are, I mean, I've seen comments on LinkedIn and all the other platforms where we are broadcasting from, and I can see quite a number of the comments on the dashboard, and it's been a tremendous experience, and we're not taking it for granted. Thank you for this session. Thank you for helping us recalibrate and rethink, because all I kept asking myself is, if things are created twice, how much time am I spending to create and to think? If that it is, and I need to double check myself. However, what's the beauty of this? I see people still trying to join. Adedamola just joined now, so we're about rounding up. But the beauty of it is people like Adedamola have not missed out completely. The recording of this session will be up by 12 noon tomorrow. All you have to do, again, like I say every week, go to www.ecoicenter.com/webinar. This is the 58th session of Techbiz, and then you will find all the recordings. You didn't have time to listen to the video. You will have sufficient time to listen to the video, to interact. And if you have questions, of course, we have his access. We can always get back to you also and see how we can be of help. And we thank God for every one of you that's been here. Again, this is Techbiz. And next week, again, we have someone who is exciting that will be bringing another exciting session of where we will be discussing the topic for next week, which will be coming to us from Boye Oloyede, will be the 10X leader. Like we said, Techbiz, for us, coming from the staples of a co-innovation center, is to see how we bring value to players in the ecosystem, techpreneurs, startups, and see how, to a large extent, we can provide the hand-holding through them leveraging the experience, the knowledge from the minds of subject matter experts like SOG has done this evening, talking about the growth mindset. And of course, Boyo will be talking next week about the 10X leader, because we need that leadership to create the transformation we need. If we miss the industrial revolution, we cannot afford to miss the information technology revolution. And that's why we, along with other players in the ecosystem, are trying our best to see how we can add and bring value to us this evening. This is Techbiz from the staples of Eco Innovation Center, an accelerator set up in 50 Awolowo Road, committed to helping techpreneurs and startups and players in the ecosystem move from concept to commercialization. And this happens to be one of the platforms that we use to fulfill this mandate. Thank you for joining us, and I appreciate the fact that you've been here. I remain your host again for Techbiz. Week on week, my name remains Victor Benga-Folabi, the founder of Eco Innovation Center. I look forward to having a nice time with you again next week, Thursday, by 5 p.m. Thanks for everyone that have been a part of this. Thanks for SOJ for doing a fantastic job. And I look forward to hosting everybody again next week. Do have a fantastic weekend. Au revoir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.